Hello, everyone. Recently, I met someone and I thought, oh, it would be so wonderful to have them come and be a guest speaker at our church. And I thought, well, we can't really do that in these times, unfortunately. And then I thought, you know what? I've been making these little videos. I'll go to him and put him on video sharing his message. And so that's what I've done this week on our video. We have a special guest, Mr. Keith Dwy. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Keith. This past year we were having guest speakers quite regularly because our theme with our Sunday school and our students was kindness. And we were talking about loving God and loving our neighbors as ourselves. And we had quite a few guest speakers come. We had the police chief, we had the mayor, we had a representative from the fire department, we had a representative from our local Plymouth Food Pantry. And they all shared with our students and with all of us the importance of service and community and being loving, caring, giving neighbors. And recently I met Keith Dwy, and he has set up what we call a little free food pantry outside of his art studio. And so let's hear from Keith himself share his story. Let's check it out.
So I've got this food pantry here in Terryville. The way it all happened was I was angry at the world. I was shut down, closed for business. I was so angry, I missed my turn to come to the studio. I turned on a Kearney Street where I found Janet Lavaro setting up her food pantry with her husband. I got to the end of the road, I turned around, and I ended up donating $20 to their box. I just asked them if they could put the money into the box, and thank you for doing what you're doing. Then I got to my studio right around the corner, and I thought to myself, if I wasn't so angry at the world, I would have never found that off-path box. So Janet had reached out to me, thanking me for making a donation. And what I ended up doing was offering, if her husband could build me another box, I would be willing to put one at my studio because it made my heart happy. She said she would talk to him. I was super excited. I posted on Facebook about the potential of putting a box in front of my studio. My friend Roger Moore owns a packing company, and he showed up the next day with a big box for me. So he generously donated that box. I thought I was just going to put food out front, call it a day, make me happy, and it ended up turning out to be a non-stop need and a non-stop, people donating. It's been an equal thing throughout the board where people are donating as much as our neighbors are receiving. So that box grew into another box that someone asked if they could get. So my friend Roger Moore once again stepped to the plate, built another box. So now we have one in Goshen, 3 in Naugatuck, 2 in Terryville, not Janet's box, but another box down in Thomaston. So it's all of our neighbors helping each other. It's been an amazing experience. My first happy, heartwarming story was by this wonderful elderly lady that came to a tattoo studio while I was arranging the box. She took food out. While I was there, she said, "Thank you for what we are doing." She went home, and then she thought to herself while she was at home what she could do without. Her and her husband like popcorn, so they buy Boy Scout from our local Boy Scout club. They buy Boy Scout popcorn. She came back with the remainder of her box of popcorn because she felt she could do without that popcorn. Some family may need it. So it's an amazing thing that our community's doing. Um, I had another lady from our community. She's a grandmother. Um, Her grandchildren are living with them. She came, she received food out of the box. She later asked me if she could get, or if I had any meats. At that moment, I didn't. 20 minutes later, after Facebook, after you guys, I posted meats required. My refrigerator was full. I had a neighbor down the street donate a chest freezer, and that was filled within an hour. I called her up and I'm like, I've got meats for your family. She came to me and she was crying. She says, Keith, I've been trying to explain to my grandchildren why we've been having pasta for the last 2 weeks. Now she could provide them with meats and anything other than pasta. A couple days later, I had Keith from American Legions in town drop off a turkey for me. I called that person up. She came down. She received the turkey. I was able to give her the stuffing, cranberry, vegetables, basically a full Thanksgiving meal. You know what she did when she got home? She and her grandchildren made that meal. They split it in half and they individualized it to give to their neighbors that are too stubborn to stop down. Plymouth Food Pantry and I have been working together. They're great, but the problem that I've noticed in the community is their hours are limited. So they waived all, you don't have to do any kind of validation. They waived all of that. All you have to do is call up the Plymouth Food Pantry, set up an appointment. They are open Mondays 8 to 12, Wednesdays 4:30 to, Mondays 12 to 3, Wednesdays 4:30 to 7:30, and Fridays 8:30 to 12. Call them up. You don't have to validate anything. Get it set up. I've been working with Reverend Zach. He's been dropping food off to us that you guys have been providing, and it's helping our community out. And with all the other boxes that we have set up here in town, we're all working together. We're all tied in together. So any extra that I have, I drop off at Kearney Street. I drop off in Thomaston. I've got the 3 boxes in Naugatuck. I've got one in Goshen, one in Quaker Hill, and we're all just helping each other out. So that's what it's all about. So thank you.
Now, if you're still watching, there's several powerful messages in what Keith shared. He talked about the importance of generosity and that all of us, regardless of our situation, rich or poor, young or old, we can all be generous, loving, caring, giving people. Keith talked about everyone working together, that his little food pantry is not instead of the Plymouth Food Pantry, it's in addition to, and that they all communicate and work together, and along with the churches and other groups in town, we can do amazing things. And he talked about taking the anger and the frustration from this pandemic and turning it into service, into loving your neighbors. So I want to thank you all for supporting this care package program that we've been doing from our church. We just finished our 3rd round, and we've been able to help a lot of different people in town, and we want to keep it going because the need continues to exist. So now we're on round 4 of our care packages, and we thank you, and keep going out there every day and loving God and loving your neighbors as yourselves. Take care, everyone.